Hey, Coach, thanks for joining us. If you have any opening remarks, go ahead. If not, we'll go to Tyler James.
No, I'd like to say, certainly I would be remiss not to pass on, my deepest sympathies to Lou Samoji's family. We lost an icon. I think Tommy Reese did a great job of, echoing those sentiments. Just a great man, and I think all of his colleagues in the profession, and certainly all those that he touched, were deeply saddened by the unexpected loss. We're going to miss him. This press conference is certainly a little bit different without the questions and the discourse. So we miss you, Lou, and you're in our thoughts. So we'll open up with Tyler. Shoot away.
Thanks for that, Brian. I wanted to talk about the cornerbacks. You spoke highly of Cam Hart earlier in the spring. How has he continued to translate his physical skills to playing the cornerback position at a high level? And then which of the other inexperienced cornerbacks are challenging for playing time right now?
Yeah, Cam's making progress. A lot of this is a combination of technique and, being, much more of a aggressive mindset instead of a reactive defensive mindset. And that's coming together with Cam. He's got the skills, he's got length, he's strong physically. He's one of our strongest, if not our strongest defensive back. Really pleased with his progress. So I think what we'll continue to build on is he'll continue to get stronger. He'll continue to work on technique. And now it's mindset. Go get the ball, it's yours. Because he is going to be in a plus matchup physically with a lot of guys that he goes against. So we're making great progress there. Ramon Henderson is coming on. Both these guys have elite traits, long, athletic, the ability to play the ball. Both of them were wide receivers. Both have excellent speed. We're starting to see that growth from Ramon as well. So, when you line them up, those two look as good as anybody in the country. And we'd like to see that continue to progress in a similar fashion with Ramon relative to his mindset. Be aggressive, go get the football, and turn being a defensive back into being an offensive player. Lewis is still progressing, coming on, and then I like what Riley and Barnes are doing. They're growing as well. It's baptism by fire with those two young kids.
All right, next question is going to be from Patrick Engel.
Brian, I have two for you here. When you look at last year's red zone offense, we heard Tommy talk about this on Thursday, where without feeling like every throw has to get us a score is kind of one area that he looked back at as something to improve on. What are kind of the ways you go about teaching that? And then second, regarding Clarence, what are kind of the things that are the next steps for him after what he was able to do as a freshman?
So red zone proficiency is based upon decision making and the ability to trust and release the ball in a timely fashion in the passing game. You've got to trust guys. You've got to be able to let the ball go, and windows open and close so quickly down there. There's no time for hesitation. So those that are extremely efficient down there have a great sense of what we're trying to accomplish down there in the passing game, and really trust their guys in terms of getting the ball out. You knew, if you look at, through self-scouting, where we were really effective was the drive routes with the tight ends. Those are a bit easier to complete because you're getting matched up with, you know, a safety coming off the hash or a backer. And, we got some favorable matchups there, and the ball can come out and it's a singular read. Where we weren't as effective at times were, some multiple reads where we're, flushing a safety and running a one-on-one route, off of a wide departure, bang or post route. So those are the things that have to get better for us. That they have been. I think I like what our quarterbacks have done. They've been more decisive, and they have to be. We've got to be able to be more proficient in the red zone. Clarence is about being stronger. He was forced into playing time probably earlier than we would have liked, but that was the case. And now it's catch up. It's catching up in the weight room with the physical traits, and he's doing a nice job, but he's got some work to do. And that's where this summer will be huge for him. We got shut down a little bit off and on this year with COVID. So, it wasn't the greatest year in terms of, strength training improvement for him, but this will be a big year for him in terms of getting stronger, because that gives him the suddenness to get in and out of breaks, and the things that he's going to need to continue to grow with.
All right, next question is going to be from Eric Hansen.
Hi, Brian. I got a couple for you. The first one is kind of looking ahead. As you finish up spring, are you also looking at some guys that might be able to help you from the June arriving group, like the Chance Tuckers, Prince Collies, Kari G kind of people? The second thing that I want to ask you about is, are you monitoring the grad transfer market and now the regular transfer market as you come out of spring, maybe looking for help?
I would be disingenuous if I told you that we were looking for, somebody in our freshman class to come in at corner after speaking so glowingly about Ramon and Cam. So we're not like, sitting around waiting for those guys to come in. We're excited about them, though. I mean, they're really good young players, and they'll get a chance to compete. But I don't think that the conversation with Marcus and I is about, we got to get these guys in and get them ready right away. We feel pretty good about the corner position moving forward. Kari G, we want to see what he can do at the safety position. That's a position we'd like to continue to build depth at, certainly. I would think that one has a little bit more of our focus. I think as part of your operation, you have to be looking at the transfer portal. But it has to fit, right? I mean, it's got to be the right fit for your university and your program, and but it has to be part of what you do in your program in recruiting, to be monitoring it, looking at it, and measuring each and every year as to whether there's a particular fit for your football team.
Next question is going to be from Pete Sampson.
Brian, I want to follow up on something Tommy talked about last week about the focus of one-on-one matchups, and he talked about Mayer specifically. And I was curious what your sort of perspective or philosophy on that is, because every defensive coordinator is going to say, I'm going to give you Mayer one-on-one. So is that more about coming up with new plays for Mayer, or is it more about developing, a better third option, a better fourth option to punish them when they do double up Mayer? And it doesn't need to be Mayer. I mean, we could be talking about Keys, we could be talking about Kyron, but just sort of that concept.
Yeah. So conceptually, to have one guy that's being doubled requires you to have a secondary option that can expose a defense. So one's not good enough. If it's just Mayer, you can make it difficult for your offense to be explosive. So we have to make teams pay if they want to try to take him out of the game. So that's why it's so important that we have secondary options that if they are left in one-on-one situations that we can come up with some big plays flat out. If it's Michael Mayer getting doubled, we have to have other players that can make big plays one-on-one. If we don't, we're going to struggle.
All right, next question is going to be from John Finneran.
Brian, I wonder if you can bring us up to date on some of the players who haven't been able to practice this spring, how they're progressing in their rehab. Any players who might have joined them this spring that we may not know of, and how you're looking forward to them coming back. When will they be available to start really working out again?
Let me pull my sheet here so I have something in front of me. Run progression started by Kyle Hamilton. So he's running. He's in our stretching. Kevin Austin has started his run progression, and Paul Mawala. All three of those guys are in their run progression. Drew White is in practice. What we do with him in the spring game, I haven't decided yet. He's, we'll probably protect him. He wants to play. We'll probably have to rock, scissors, paper that one. But he's back in a practice setting. So those three guys are in run progression. Certainly, that guys that are out, Clark is out, obviously, still on the D line. Schweitzer had surgery yesterday, very successful. Lacey is still out, making great progression. He was out on the field in a full, he was doing 350s today, full conditioning. Let's see who else do we have. Rubio had a hyperextended elbow. We're not sure what his status is going to be for the spring game, but he's had a really good spring. Let's see who else we have here. I'm going down the list. I think that covers pretty much the guys that, unless I've missed somebody, that's pretty much the major list. Of course, Lug is back. He practiced today, and of course Patterson is out. I think I've done a pretty good job there. How'd I do, Eric?
All right, I think I see one hand left raised, so we're going to go to George Bashura.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Hey, George.
The last couple of years, you've had a great leader in Ian Book, and he's been the leader on and off the field. And he was that guy you needed in the locker room because, as you've said in the past, it's not everything that comes from you, but it's what comes from the true team leader. Who is stepping out this spring as that team leader in the locker room?
Yeah, it's work in progress right now. We have 10 SWAT teams. And, with those 10 SWAT teams, they're giving the opportunity to lead on a day-to-day basis. And, with those 10 SWAT teams, we have 13 individual leaders amongst the group because 3 of the teams have dual leaders. For example, team 4 is Kyron Williams and Jack Cohn. Team 8 is Bo Bauer and Shane Simon. Team 10 is Dorr and Bramlett. So, you've got some extra leaders there, but, Hamilton, Patterson, Avery Davis, Heinisch, Drew White, Myron, Lug, there's a lot of guys that are veterans in our program that have been asked to be SWAT leaders. Those are our SWAT leaders that I've just laid out to you. So they've been given the opportunity over the last few months to lead. And, we'll take stock on that, and they'll have, this summer to lead as well, and then we'll make some decisions on, who we believe will continue that and wear the C on their jersey.
All right, I got a few more questions here. We're going to go to timothyomalley.
Coach, I want to ask you about about Quinn Carroll's progress. He's the guy we have barely seen because he had the injury in 2019. And of course, we didn't see any practices in COVID. Where does he fit in your offensive line mix?
He's gotten really strong physically. I think the area that he's got to continue to develop is, the picking up of movement has been one where, he struggled at times. We've moved him around too, to be fair with him. But really like his progress in the weight room. He's gotten really strong. And so now the next level is, going out there consistently, when we got movement and we've got linebackers moving, is being able to pick up a lot of that movement. So continue to work on his agility, change of direction. Those are the areas that he's got to focus on.
All right, we have a follow-up from Pete Sampson. Go ahead.
I was just curious about the format of the spring game. If you sort of decided how you want that to operate.
Yeah, we're going to go blue versus gold. So it'll be a traditional game. We've split the squads up. I think we've got one or two players that will have to be in, bounce around. Aiden Keenanana will play the shade on both sides. So he's going to do a little bit of double duty. But that's about it. So we can split the teams up. So it'll be blue versus gold.
All right, we'll have one more here. We'll go to Tyler James.
First, that was really unfair that Aiden was the guy's name you had to say.
Yeah, I threw it out there. I gave it a shot at least. Some guys would have just said Aiden.
I wanted to follow up. You mentioned surgery for Will Schweitzer. What was that surgery on? And I also wanted you to ask you about Ian Book and him potentially getting drafted. What does that mean for the program to have a quarterback drafted, and what that can do for you guys to build upon?
Yeah, Will's was I'll have to get you the specific. I can't even pronounce what they did, but he'll be good for the fall. But I will, I'll get Katie to get Tyler that specific injury and the repair. It's akin to a patella injury, but I'll get the specific because it wasn't patella. But it was a ligament, so that was repaired. I've talked to GMs and head coaches about Ian, which generally means that he is in serious consideration for being that guy that is drafted to be the number 2 to step in if their number 1 goes down. So my expectations would be that based upon the conversations that I've had with GMs and head coaches, that there's a very good chance that he gets drafted and becomes a number 2 somewhere.
All right, Coach, that is the final question. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.